Hello Bracketeers, and thank you for assembling for another exciting episode of Bracket, the game show where you try to guess your favorite celebrities' top picks, bracket style. I'm your host, Robbie DeVillis, and joining me today is the extraordinary extraterrestrial, Sethward. Sethward, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Robbie. Thanks for calling me an alien. It's one of my favorite things to be called.
Oh, beautiful. I'm glad I can give you that wonderful compliment. Now, you are an absurdist comedian and filmmaker, right?
It's true.
Awesome. How does one get into that field?
Well, I've tried to be a comedian, and I've tried to be a filmmaker, and I fall a lot, and some people think that falling is failure, but I believe that falling is just an easy way to become an underdog, and when you get back up, you're a winner.
Speaking of fun things, maybe even weird to some folks, but not to all, Legos. Particularly you have chosen your category bracket of Legos. Now, can you please give us a little bit of background of why you chose Legos as your category for this bracket?
I grew up in a house full of Legos. My mom and dad were big advocates for creativity, building things, being creative with your hands, being creative with just making worlds out of nothing. And that's what Lego was this idea of tons of pieces and there's no limit to what you can create. Lego is now very popular with the new movies that have come out, but boy were they popular with my family as a young child. My dad's a mechanical engineer, loved making things with his hands, and he supplied us with Legos at a very early age, and I played with them, constructed with them, imagined with them for all the way through. Then they started making minifigures as collector items, and boy, I spent way too much money as an adult on those. Too much space is in my home being occupied by Legos. I am an addict, and I'm not afraid to say that. I am afraid to get help because I don't want to stop loving them.
So were you the type of kid who had like the Lego cities?
We had millions of Legos.
Millions of Legos?
They were in tubs. We had them color organized.
In tubs, like your bathtubs?
No, close. Although that would be a very interesting bath. We had big old buckets. We had a whole game room, and it was mostly filled with Legos. All different types of them. I definitely had certain ones that I was obsessed with. Certain ones I wasn't a big fan of, but I loved all Legos. The only thing I didn't like were the off-brand of Legos. Mega Bloks, I'm looking at you, you son of a gun. They're almost the same, but they are not. And Mom, if you give me one more set of Mega Bloks, I swear I will burn this house down. They're cheap, they break.
Well, it's a good thing we have insurance today on our wonderful set here at Bracket.
Yes.
Let's see what your favorite picks are. Let's see if your childhood wins or if it's going to be one of the new updated Legos. Because I see some classic Legos here, and I see some new ones too, some very interesting ones. Keep in mind, folks, mustaches.
Yes. I do have a mustache, and it is real. It's not made out of Legos.
It's real? Can I feel?
Yeah, go ahead, give it a good tug.
Ooh. Ah! Oh, I'm sorry.
Robbie.
You scared me. All right, so let's kick it off with the blue region. We have Star Wars or Pirates. Now, to be confused, this is not Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
It's not. It's actually one of the original Lego franchises, Pirates. They had swashbuckling swords, they had peg legs, they had hooks. Super fun.
Ooh.
Star Wars, an amazing set, but I went with Pirates because I am a big Star Wars fan, but Star Wars is not an OG Lego franchise. Pirates is.
That's it. And I think there's more mustaches in Pirates anyway.
I think you're right.
Now we have Western or Disney.
Disney is something that everyone says can't be beaten. Disney is king. Disney is the ultimate. But let me tell you one thing, Disney. You don't own me. You don't own Western. You lost to Western. I don't know why I have such beef with Disney. I don't know.
Take that, mouse. Moving on. Now, in the red section, we have Town or the Lego Movie.
This was very hard because Town is one of those originals that is like super fun. You build houses. I think that the actual Town collection of Lego sets were a bit minimal, in how many they produced.
Are they little towns?
As far as I know, Town is kind of one of those original series that's not necessarily serious. It's just like basic Legos, which I would have voted for because I loved the idea of basic Lego sets. But I went with the Lego Movie because it is such an insane group of amazing sets, an amazing movie, and some great, it's pretty much got culture. It's like, it's wrapped up in all of this. Like you go out and watch a movie, you go out and listen to Chris Pratt's silky voice. You gotta love the Lego Movie.
Well, it looks like that little town is now a quiet village. Up next, we have the Lego Batman movie, or Castle.
This was very difficult because of Will Arnett, my good friend and godfather to my unborn children, is the voice of Batman in the Lego Batman movie, which was a great film, but Castle is such an iconic series of Lego sets. They've got kings, they've got queens, they got jousting, they got horses, they got just the gesture of, for goodness sakes, the castle. You can build a Lego castle in any way, shape, or form. Lego Batman movie, very creative sets, an amazing movie, but I went with Lego Castle just because of how complex that original Lego sets, those original sets are so wonderful.
I guess the Lego Batman movie was plagued to fail in this bracket.
Whew!
Oh. Now, next up we have Pirates or Legends of Chima.
Whew! Legends of Chima, very creative, like I said earlier, but Pirates are super fun. I think Pirates win just because they're more fun than Legends of Chima.
A strong choice there. Now we have Western or Ninjago.
Whew! Ninjago, an original collection of comic books, an entire feature-length film, and original cast of characters that they put into minifigures. But Western had such a broad range. You had robbers, you had cowboys, you had Native Americans that were not necessarily losing all the time. Kind of rewrite history with the old Western there. So I went with the revisionist history Western. I'm sorry if you're upset about that.
Moving on, we have the Lego Movie or Castle.
Whew, this was very difficult because the Lego Movie is in my top 3 favorite films of all time. The way they crafted that feature-length film is beautiful, and then the franchise that they built around that with all of the Lego sets that they created, and you can look at it on screen and you can make it while you're playing, while you're watching the movie. Ingenious, I tell you. But all of that, Robbie.
Yes, Sethward.
The Castle series is an ultimate original grouping of like the idea of what are you gonna make? You have a pile of Legos, what are you gonna make? Castle is what comes to mind. It's not, I'm gonna make a feature-length film character set. And that's how I chose Castle, because any child of any age, any adult, they can make a castle out of a group of Legos.
You're really letting down Will Arnett right now.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I may have ruined my non-existent friendship with Will Arnett.
All right, everybody, we have finally made it to the final 4 of this episode of Bracket. It really should be called Brickit, right?
That's a great point.
Right? And it should be called Brickit this episode.
I'll sign that.
We have Pirates, Western, Castle, or City. Which one of these 2 are going to make it to the championship round?
This is hard because in both of these franchises, they have excellent mustaches. Pirates, great mustaches, peg legs, and hooks. Westerners, from Texas mostly, that's what I'm gonna say. They got guns, they got shoot 'em up, they got lassos, they got everything you can imagine. I believe I went with Pirates. I believe I went with Pirates.
So let's see what's going to join Pirates on the high seas of the championship round. Is it going to be Castle or City? Medieval or modern?
And I went with modern because of the complexity that is the original idea of what Legos are, is building. I built my home that I grew up in out of Lego. Well, my little brother did most of the work, but we built a home and that was part of the city. That was, I went with that. I went with City. I'm sorry.
We have finally made it to our championship round here at Brickit, and now we're gonna see what wins. Is it gonna be Pirates or City? Which one of the bricks is going to make it to the top of the pyramid, Seth?
It's so hard to even compare the two of these guys. I mean, Pirates beat Western, which makes me think they can beat anything, really, because that's befuddling. Pirates? What?
Right.
And if they were stroll up in the city as one of the best Lego franchises sets, which one is the better? It's like, I do not know. I can't make that decision, but I have to. I have to.
You have to.
Because that's what this is about.
That's what this is all about.
So it's really a crapshoot, and I'm gonna go with city because construction workers and building buildings, and we're building things here. That's the only thing you can really latch on to, is that building a city and being not even the mayor anymore. We've transcended mayor. We're the god of this city. We're like in SimCity, where we can just wreck the whole thing. And it's okay to wreck your own city because you can build it back up again. And that idea of being able to just build something and see it flourish and see a beautiful creation right before your eyes, and then become your own monster and kick it down only to build it back up again is kind of like a metaphor for life, isn't it?
You should write a book.
You're up and down. You're the monster. You're the creator. We're evil. We're good. We're Lego.
Well, if you guys didn't win at home, we're sorry, but I guess you should let go and move on. But in the meantime, Sethward, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Bracket. This was so much fun.
This was a lot of fun. And if you ever want me to talk your ear about Lego, then please call me. No one else is doing it. No one lets me talk to them about this kid's toy as much as I want to. And you've been really sweet about it, Robbie.
Of course, we are happy to build you a soapbox made of Legos for this platform on Bracket. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Tune in next time, and thanks again for playing.
Yay!